Hello folks, Typhon Carter here, and I bring to you Smogon Premier League 17. This is semifinals between Skyrio and Martial Law. So Skyrio has had a fantastic season for the Raiders, as I believe going into this contest he's sitting at 7-2. Marshall has done a respectable job this SPL. I believe he's sitting around 2-2, like 3-2, something like that. So, you know, he's been holding his own for the most part, and I think this is an interesting matchup as we have a French Derby matchup in semifinals here. Anyways, that being said though, I mean Marshall, he was a finalist or grand finalist, runner-up invitational, whereas Skyrio, he has solidified himself as one of the best DPPers in this SPL pool this season. But enough said though, let's jump right into this. Bronze on lead, Smogon lead. So couple of interesting lead matchup here. For Marshall, there's a couple directions you could go with lead Smogon, especially because now Lumberry is not as mandatory anymore, obviously with Machamp being banned. Usually it's like a special offense, but you do something like sub CM with you know, Hydro Ice Beam, or it could just, or even like Protect. This would cover against explosion leads. Whereas if you're the Bronzong player on Skyrio's end, you can probably just get rocks up, but you have to be careful of getting protected on or subbed on to, that's gonna like try to block an explosion. And if you're seeing Bronzong, I mean this is either like offense or this is a stall team from Skyrio. Anyways, that being said though, let's keep going. CM up here, rocks are up. Question is, how is Marshall going to respond? Okay, just got Hydro Pump and explode. Oh, it actually survives. Interesting. But Starry's gonna come in here and it is going to force a revenge kill. So this Bronzong might have been something like Akaberry, for example, or it could have been even something like. But that explosion somehow not killing Smogon is a bit of a shock. This tells me that this might be like max HP mixed bulk or something like that. Either that or Marshall's Smogon is bulked out. If it managed to live that from that range, so maybe it's, but I mean if it was like Hydro Pump doing 55 to maybe Spadef Zong, for example, that might be what happened. Who knows? Protects here. Oh, interesting. So yeah, Marshall could have probably protected there, to be honest, but was probably expecting Clefable or something. That was probably the read that he got structure wise. Rose is gonna come in here and just go Leaf Storm, gotta get rid of the Starmie, and it will be able to come in, but Infernape's gonna be a headache here, and the Rose is gonna go down, so no hazard or no T-Spikes are gonna go up. And it's gonna come in here into a T-Tar, straight into a meta. Fantastic call out there by Marshall, but meta on meta action. Both have Iron Ball, interesting. And oh, okay. So EQ there doing 62% to meta, and we see Trick Stealth Rocks. Stealth Rock on Trick meta, interesting choice because that means that it's probably like mash EQ. And this means you're usually foregoing something like Explosion. The Synergy makes sense, but usually if you're running Stealth Rocks and something like this, that just tells me that you just really need to fit rocks somewhere, and meta was probably the best choice for it. As per Marshall's last here, usually the kind of last here, the kind of core you would see with Smogon Rosary would be something like Smogon Infernape Rose, for example, but in this case, something like Rotom would actually be a pain in the neck. So for Marshall, I would expect there to be a Tyranitar in the back, maybe even a Scizor, you know, if you're feeling spicy. But anyways, that being said though, Bronzong, Infernape, I mean Skyrio, obviously this is hard offense. You have to have another EQ immunity, so maybe something like a Healing Wish Latias would actually make a ton of sense as Skyrio's is last. Anyways, EQ's here. So both Triton down, and Heatran's gonna come in. Okay, yeah, so there was a Heatran indeed. Sub makes sense, so this tells me that this is Toxic Spike's Roserade. Again, nothing too surprising. And got taunt here. Interesting. I think Marshall was just trying to prevent a Dragon Dance. Superpowers again, and looks like what Marshall's gonna do is he's gonna sub up, try to waste all the T-Tars' PP. Question is, how will Skyrio respond to this before it becomes a sunk cost? Predicts, comes out on the sub here, and Marshall will most certainly be able to probably get a lava plume off. Oh, nasty plot here. Okay, so actually, so I love nasty plot as an option on Infernape for a couple reasons. This is actually a great call meta game wise, because of the fact that one, as we've seen in the post sleep ban, we've seen a lot of mag usage in this tier, like stuff like Scarf Magneton, you know, Scarf Magnet Zone, things like that. So if you're running a nasty plot, this means that it's probably playing for a vacuum wave, and then maybe something like a hidden power ice, hidden power electric, or you know, grass knot, for example. So if it is vacuum wave, then this is a really good way to get around someone like Scarf Mag, because as we've seen, like, it's a prominent enough presence in DPP where, like, you know, you see people starting to go out their way to you know, try to deal with that. And we've seen this with something like Calm Mind Lucario as well, similar principle. Vacuum waves here, lava plume, but that lava plume is not really gonna do anything. Marshall could use this chance to get Latias in, but no, just gotta let the Heatran go. But Latias is gonna force a revenge kill, probably gonna get Surf off. Okay, there's a Surf, gonna go down. The T-Tar will probably live the Surf, barring a critical hit. And yeah, okay, that's 67% damage. And the last here is Rotom. And now this could be a real problem, but I think if the last is Latias, which yes it is, not too surprising, Suigen's gonna come in, and then if this is Scarf, then what's gonna happen is that Infernape's gonna get sacked for the Rotom, and then it's just going to just win the game from there. Because again, like Scarfly just makes a ton of sense. This team would struggle with something like DD Gyarados otherwise, and yeah, so Skyrio's gonna win this semifinals matchup. Fantastic stuff here. Skyrio did a pretty good job managing this game from start to finish. Got out to a very comfortable lead early on, kept the Infernape as a sack piece, and was like made all the right sacks here to kind of make sure he stayed ahead. I think Marshall did all right for himself, like trying to, you know, claw his way back into the game. I don't know, maybe I think he probably could have kept the Heatran, to be, if I'm being honest, for a couple reasons. Because one, on, I believe it was, yeah, on turn 18, like the Heatran's at 50, it lost like 56% health. Comes in on a Draco Meteor or whatever, then, you know, I think what Marshall could have done, go Latias, eat up the Vacuum Wave, or if you're bold, go into Rotom, and you know, because Infernape's never going to click Flamethrower in that situation to try and outplay. Like, you want to get whatever value you can. Like, you can go Rotom, and then what you can do is like try to wear the T-Tar down that way, or bring the Latias in, click Surf, pick something, and then you could kind of use the Heatran to absorb a Draco or two, especially because I think at the time when Skyrio only showed 5 Pokemon, I think the 5th being something like a Latias was like fairly obvious to me, because, like, you know, you want Healing Wisher. I think it would fit almost everything you could possibly ask for Healing Wish, to give something like Infernape or T-Tar a second breath of life, or even meta, or like Starmie. You know, you have a bunch of threats, and then D-Gear is kind of shaky, so, you know, having Scarf Latias as like a possible out button also goes a long way. So these are just things to think about when you're kind of thinking about possible last. Marshall's last being Rotom, again, makes sense because of the way that Marshall's team is designed. You have Protect Suicune, you have Sub Protect Heatran, not quite Torment Tran, but Taunt will do too. And then you have the Rosary to theoretically set spikes, but obviously he never got the chance to do that. So, you know, protect and like double protect here makes a ton of sense, like synergistically, because of the way T spikes work. Like you just want to let the poison cat do the work, right? So anyways, that being said though, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.